Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's confirmation post, where we're going through the Ten Commandments and examining what they mean for our lives personally and how they relate to our lives as Christians in community with one another. So, as we've discussed, the first commandment, first three commandments, deal with our relationship to God and what God expects of us. To have another God, we're not supposed to take the Lord's name in vain, and God asks us to slow down and to take a day of Sabbath where we can just not do and just be. The commandments after that deal with our lives in our lives and how we conduct ourselves in the home and to our neighbors outside. So last week we dealt with the fifth commandment. You're not to kill. This week it deals with a similar element of that. That is harming others. This week's commandment is, the sixth, you are not to commit adultery. And this is what Luther says about that. He says, we are to fear and love God so that we lead pure and decent lives in word and deed, and each of us loves and honors his or her spouse. So at a very basic level, this commandment is dealing with relationships. It's dealing with how we conduct ourselves in, not only committed relationships, but relationships that extend beyond that. So relationships between friends, between co-workers, between those people who we worship with in any setting, in any congregation, whether that be here in Rochester or over in Monaco. So this commandment is asking, what does it mean to be a faithful person? And this is something that I can talk about, certainly, but this is a commandment, where you're asked to take inventory of yourself and to figure out what it means to be a faithful person, and how that faith lives out in your life. So this commandment is important because it deals with something that we're certainly all victim of or are guilty of doing. What else are the commandments? The commandments convict us, and they, like I said last week, they hold up a mirror to us, right? So this commandment, we may not have broken the basic meaning of it, the marital aspect of it, but we have certainly all, maybe to different degrees, been the source of division. That is causing, through our words or actions, to draw people away from you. Because, what else is infidelity, right? It's pledging your love and your allegiance to someone else. And when this commandment is broken, when you are not a faithful person, you're causing division. Not only are you harming yourself, you're harming the person who you are related to, and you're harming the person who, for whatever reason or another, helped you cause that division. So this is a difficult commandment because we're all guilty of it. The good news in this is that we're all guilty of it. And, the first thing we do when we come to church is we all read the confessions and forgiveness. And, while we don't want to actively cause division, sometimes we do it without realizing it. And it's important that we confess this, and it's important that we admit to ourselves and to God that there are times where we do this. So take stock. Think, how do you live out your life as a Christian? How are you living it out faithfully? Are we living our lives with integrity? That's only a question that you can ask and answer for yourself, but it's an important one. So this commandment has many elements. And it's not only for confirmation class, it's not only for, the youth of our church, but it's also for everyone else as well. Division only serves to draw us apart from each other. And as a community of believers, we are called to be with each other and all of the messiness that can sometimes bring about. But this commandment, it calls us to call each other out. It calls us to hold each other accountable for the actions or inactions, like we dealt with last week, in our lives. And all of this, doing so in love and in confession and forgiveness, because without that, we have nothing. So think on this. As always, feel free to post questions and comments. Feedback is always welcome. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful week.